Make no mistake. War is coming. With all its glory and all its horror.
I've run a few tests on the terrazine gas like you asked. It's clearly related to Vespene gas, but there are some very exotic organics added into the mix.
Any guesses what it's used for?
Well, it would definitely affect brain chemistry, so it could be used as some kind of drug or stimulant, I suppose.
Drugs, huh? That's just wonderful.
Just out of curiosity, I did some tests on the minerals from Redstone. I thought you should know I found trace quantities of Jorium, a rare crystal with very unique properties.
I'm all ears, Doc. What kind of properties?
Jorium resonates at the same frequency as certain brainwaves. It's been theorized that it could be used to stimulate brain activity or even produce psionic abilities in human subjects.
What the hell does Tosh want that for?
I repeat, death toll is in the thousands. A Dominion weapons plant exploded hours ago, causing a chain reaction that has taken out several housing complexes in this working-class neighborhood. Dominion security forces claim it was an act of terror by the notorious Jim Raynor, but our own investigations suggest that the plant must have been infiltrated by forces with sophisticated stealth technologies. It begs the question, could some of the Dominion's ghost operatives have gone rogue? For UNN, this is Kate Lockwell reporting from the core world of Nefor 2.
That Tosh is a whack job, Jimmy. Spends all his time muttering and playing around with those damn dolls of his.
Well, I need someone to balance out your sophistication and good manners.
The guy ain't riding ahead, brother. I can appreciate some good honest craziness. But that guy, he's got something broke inside.
Sir, I received an encrypted transmission from an untraceable source. It claims that Tosh here was part of a classified operation called Project Shadowblade. They used Jorium and terrazine to enhance ghost powers.
It's true. We are called Spectres. Next generation ghosts.
And you were gonna tell me all this when?
We all have our secrets, Mr. Raynor. Doesn't mean I'm any threat to you.
Maybe not. But whoever sent this message could be. Matt, any way to verify the transmission?
No, sir. But it does end with, "I'll be in touch soon."
It's Minsk, trying to turn us against each other. Don't let him.
I'll let it lie for now. At least till I find out who sent this transmission. But I'll be keeping an eye on you, Tosh.
You can try.
What do you make of that encrypted message, Matt?
I honestly don't know, sir. If Tosh really is one of these Spectres, it's clear Minsk would try to ruin your partnership. But Tosh isn't telling us everything. If we're going to win this revolution...
I know. We have to be sure of our allies.
Hey man, what's up, cowboy?
What do you got for me, Swan?
We're rocking some serious heavy metal now that we got siege tanks.
Yes, sir. The comforting thunder of the big guns. Well, comforting when they're on our side.
Yeah, these newer tanks have better guns when they're on the move. And reinforced armor.
So long as they still got the range in siege mode, the rest is just gravy. Between siege tanks and bunkers, we can hold the line against just about anything.
Moebius wants us to go after another artifact on some dead world called Zill. Apparently they sent in a specialist team, but they lost contact with them 2 days ago. Their bad luck, I guess. Figure we'll get hazard pay for this one. So here's the deal. This place is a morgue. Whatever used to live in these ruins up and died millions of years ago. Before they went missing, the Moebius team reported artifact radiation emanating from that big old hunk of rock over yonder. They brought a big damn laser drill to burn the way in.
Laser drill? That thing's a monster. If the Moebius team had access to that kind of hardware, I need to think about what could have wiped them out.
Reckon we'll find out soon enough, partner.
Alright, so before we head off to Zil, because this mission is going to be primarily defensive mission, we are going to upgrade our missile turrets. This is something I probably could have done on the last mission, but I guess it didn't really matter too much. So we're going to get the titanium housing, which is going to give them more life. And then also the Hellstorm batteries, which is going to give them, as you see here, extra attack. So, and then we have quite a bit of money left, but I'm going to hold on to that to upgrade more equipment, probably our tanks next, because they're about what we're about to get. So, alright, off we go to Zil. Okay, that's not quite true yet. I forgot before we go off to do the mission, we also need to upgrade our research. So we now have the next rank in Zerg as well as the first rank in Protoss. So the Zerg options are the Planetary Fortress or the Perdition Turret. Really, it doesn't particularly matter. I don't use either of these a whole lot. You can go for the Planetary Fortress if you want. The only reason I usually don't is because we upgrade them into comm stations instead, and I just find I don't usually use the Planetary Fortress, but if you like it, then go ahead. I'm going to go with the Perdition Turret, and hopefully find a use for them later. However, the Protoss upgrade is very useful, and we have an armor and a weapons one, and what these do is they, whenever we do our normal research, it's just going to make each one of those normal researches at the armory or the engineering bay a little bit stronger. So I always take the weapon one, and the reason for this is because there's a lot of missions in the campaign where you just have to hold out and defend, and this helps our guys in bunkers. If they're in the bunker, then the armor is not going to do them any good, but this will still affect their attack. So that is the one I always take.
Watch your corners, boys. We don't know who cleaned this place out.
You gonna give me
Let's find out then.
more Terran?
Probably those guys.
The mysteries of this place are forbidden.
You little dance. No, 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 he's locked in. Oh, that was lucky. You get back two.
Okay. At least we know what happened to the other
Alright, we lost
expedition.
one.
Orders
Right.
received.
Hold up there. Those Protoss cannons will tear us a new one if we try to advance. Swan, you promised me siege tanks. Where are they?
Settle down, hotshot. They're coming.
Alright, here come our
These
siege
babies will
tanks.
knock those cannons down from a nice, safe distance.
So siege tanks are really cool. They're one of the, probably the best units that the Terran have, easily. And they can turn into a tank and drive around, or you can put them in this kind of turret mode and use them as like a defensive or even an offensive unit that way.
These new siege tanks work just like the old ones. When you put them in siege mode, they get increased range and firepower. They can't move in siege mode, so if you need to reposition them, just switch them back into tank mode. You got it?
Of course. I'm on it. Go ahead.
Let's get some siege tanks deployed on the high ground. They can pound that Protoss stalker before it even gets close to us.
So you can see these are really good for defending. Like if you put these at the gate to your base behind some bunkers and stuff, they are highly effective.
You gonna give me
In fact, that is going to be what we are going to have to do for this mission. This mission, the name of this mission is build as many tanks as possible.
Moebius base local net accessed. Decrypting security overrides. Transferring control of base structures to you, Commander.
Fired up. 174 gigawatts. The power of the sun at your fingertips. Now get it aimed at that door and let's get cutting.
Laser output is good. Drilling will take some time, but there's no other way into the temple. Sir, the Tal'Darim are mobilizing their forces against us.
So we set a perimeter and protect the drill until we're through. Just glad we've got siege tanks.
Alright, so put all your workers to work. Grab both your siege tanks, put them up here in siege mode. Now, I'm putting mine on a separate hotkey. We have enough Vespene to make 2 more siege tanks, so immediately do that.
We got no chance of claiming the artifact without it.
And we are going to need a lot of Vespene gas, so put a couple guys on that right away. Now, I don't think as a whole this mission is quite as difficult as the last one, but it's a little rough starting out. So what we're going to have to do is move these 2 tanks back and forth until we can get tanks on both sides. So as soon as they kill the first wave, we're going to have to move over to deal with the other one. Get the 3rd tank up there too.
Sir, I've managed to access what's left of the Moebius Expedition sensor net. I'll route it
Keep
through
your
your map so
SCVs
you can see
coming.
what the Tal'Darim are up to.
Get another tank on the way. And now grab one of your SCVs because we're going to need to build a supply depot here in a minute. And we're going to start building supply depots down here. We're going to build like a little wall, which is going to act as kind of a temporary defense. Eventually we'll build a more proper one up here. But for now, that's where we're going to put them. Alright. That's the first wave. Immediately grab these guys and move them over here. Because we're going to have another wave coming from this side. Put them in siege mode. There it is. Alright. And leave those guys there for now. We're going to have another wave coming through here. And we'll deal with it, and then we're going to have to move them again. So, let's bring over this 5th tank. Once we get about 8 tanks, we can have 4 on each side, and that'll be good for a little while. Ideally, I want about 10 tanks on each side. This mission, you just need a lot of tanks. So, keep making SCVs.
This better be good.
For now, we're not going to worry about bunkers, just tanks.
SCV ready.
This would be a good time to increase our Vespene output as well, because that's the main thing holding us back from more tanks at this point.
Bad news. We hear you. SCV ready. SCV ready.
All right. So, now that that wave's done, grab your tanks and move over here, quick as you can.
SCV
Put them in siege mode. And at this point, I'm going to try and start splitting up our tanks, actually. And I'm going to have all the new tanks for a little while just go over to this cliff, and we're going to leave these ones up here. We're going to steal another one of our SCVs, make sure we're making more. And we're going to start to build a wall with some bunkers on this side. So the way we're going to build this is, I'm actually going to grab another SCV. We're going to have 2 bunkers and just a few supply depots to kind of act as a little gate in the middle there. Eventually we might build another bunker over here, but for now this will be fine. So we're going to start making some more Marines to fill these bunkers. And so build the reactor, I'd say.
That which belongs to the gods. This will not be borne by the faithful.
Sir,
This button lets you take manual control of the laser.
if they get too
we
close,
can
our
now
men won't
do.
stand a chance.
So
I'm giving you manual control
we're
of the
going to use it
laser
to
drill.
take out all
See
the
if you can use it
powerful
against the
units that they
Protoss.
are spawning here.
All right, you heard the man. Swing
And I'm going to
that
be doing
laser
that
around.
actually pretty
We can use it to
regularly.
drive back the Protoss.
Bad news.
At this point, I'm also going to build our armory.
Add-on complete.
Please
Put our medics over here, we'll need them later. But not for a little while. And we still have an SCV over here, we do. Try and leave at least one SCV on each side for repairs. Although this guy's on the wrong side of the wall. So down here is a little expansion, and we're going to try and take that fairly soon. Once we kind of get our defense a little built up on each side.
In the rear with the gear.
Instead of making 2 siege tanks now, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to build a second factory. It's going to increase our siege tank output greatly. Don't be afraid to use the laser to burn enemies. I'd say prioritize the Immortals and eventually Colossus when they start sending those first. The Archons aren't too difficult to deal with. So,
The laser drill has
but
breached the doors.
depending on how much you use the laser, this mission in total takes about 30 minutes, maybe 35 or so. Alright. Start researching our upgrades for our tank's weapons. Armor you can get as well if you want, but weapons are most important because our strategy is sort of kill them before they can even get to the tanks.
Alert. Enemy air units on approach vector.
Oh, we got air units coming in. I'm gonna call down the war pigs to help us out here. And yes, use the laser on all of these.
Hey, hey, hey. We need that damn drill. Don't trash it.
Alright, so they destroyed one of our bunkers. That's not ideal, but it could be worse. Bunkers will get destroyed in this mission. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So you will have to rebuild them fairly regularly. It comes with the territory of playing the game on brutal. These things happen.
Not enough minerals.
Keep making SCVs.
Sir, I'm picking up
We
the
wanna get
energy
this nice and
signatures of several
saturated.
Protoss relics in the area. I'm marking them on your map.
You gonna get me armed and ready.
Well, if there's time, we can blast them free with a laser drill. I bet Stedman would love to study them.
In the rear with the gear. You want a piece of me, boy? Fueled up, ready to go.
Might build a few more anti-air turrets as well, because they will be sending more flyers at us, and the flyers will get more difficult.
Base is under attack.
I'm going to use the laser to burn through some of these Immortals and things that are coming. Immortals, if you don't know, are a counter to siege tanks. They have a special shield that reduces incoming damage to 10.
Upgrade.
So if you're trying to counter them with things that do a lot of damage, like a siege tank, they're just not very effective against them. However, the lucky thing about that is that the sort of counter to the Immortals is just basic Marines. So we can counter them pretty easily once we get these bunkers up and going. Which, let's get these loaded. We'll take these guys down here to throw them into this new bunker we're building.
Additional supply depots.
I'm just going to build a few supply depots back here real quick. Just so we have some.
Minerals.
Research increased guns as well for these Marines inside the bunkers.
By the numbers.
And I think here in a minute is going to be about when we start to build our expansion. Again, do not be afraid to use the laser drill to kill things.
Base is under attack.
Alright, so we're going to start building our command center down here. Eventually we're going to kind of build a line with some more bunkers along here. But I want to have the Marines to put in them first.
In the rear with the gear.
Also going to build a couple more
This better be good.
anti-air turrets over here.
Base is under attack. Mineral field.
What's some?
Base is under attack. The laser drill is now
Alright, so we have a new tank here, and I'm going to kind of, I think both sides have the same number of tanks now, so we're just going to keep kind of putting one on each side in turns.
Not enough minerals.
Got 4 more on the way. Might also be a good time, since we have a little group of Marines here. I'm going to take them along with one of these medics. And we're going to go do our site objective. Oh, hold on. We're going to wait till we deal with these air units. Then we'll go and do the site objectives. Now, they're going to start sending carriers. I say no shame in killing those with the laser. Okay, so now we're going to go do our site objective real quick. Just take a little group of Marines here, make sure there's not a group forming. And we're going to run over here to this spot. All the while, keeping our tanks and our everything else production up. So these are real simple little objectives. There are these 3 temples, and you need to burn them open with the drill. We're going to kill these, though, first. And then inside will be a Protoss relic we want to recover. These tanks over here.
Depleted.
And it takes a few seconds to burn through each temple, so not really too serious.
Base is under attack.
And then there's the relic inside. Just have your Marines grab it and take them back to the base. That's the first one. There's 2 more over here, which actually go really quick because they're close together. Start putting some SCVs out there as well. We're going to build another bunker that once our guys are done with this mission, a little side mission, we will put those Marines in there. Unfortunately, we don't have a... Oh, we do have a medic left. Although
I'll
she's
take care of it.
kind of on death's doorstep herself. More Marines, more tanks.
Sure thing.
Well, there's not a huge amount of defense down here on these areas. So there's a couple cannons down here. Just gonna burn the pylon out with the laser. Oh. Alright, we might not have had enough guys. That's alright. We'll call in the war pigs and a few other guys, and we got time to still do that site objective. Really, I usually don't even start to do it until we're about a quarter of the way through, so.
In the rear with the gear. Go ahead.
Start moving some of these guys over here to our new expansion.
Base is under attack.
SCV ready.
this guy a little closer to the edge so he can start shooting from farther away. More tanks. Oh, we need to make supply depots here in a minute. That'll be alright.
That's fine.
The war pigs should be able to handle this by now.
Thermal barrier breached. The laser drill is now cutting through the core.
They seek to devour the legacy of the gods. Destroy them.
Start burning down this temple. That's quite a few guys. And they're starting to send Colossus, so those are ones you definitely want to burn with the laser too, because they have the ability to step right over the cliff and attack your tanks directly without going all the way around. So definitely take them out ahead of time. Alright, and then we'll start burning our way through the hull again.
Vespine geyser exhausted.
I'm going to keep building some bunkers here. I'm actually going to put in a few anti-air missile launchers over there because they tend to send in carriers and scouts from that side. Supply blocked. I'll just grab a few guys here real quick.
There's another wave of air units heading your way.
These guys just won't give up. Stick it to them, boys.
Targeting the carriers.
Base is under attack.
Missile turrets can deal with most of the other stuff. Or either that or our Marines in the bunkers. Alright, that temple's been burned out. I'm going to take a second to kind of repair this side before we go and get that last side objective. You can build a second barracks if you want. I might do that as well here in a minute. And replace some of these tanks over here. We've lost a couple. We also are kind of losing our...
Base is under attack.
Be sure to check, that you always have SCVs around to repair. They die sometimes and you don't notice. And it'll be a real problem. Alright, we're losing quite a few defenses on this side. Like I said, that just happens when you play on Brutal. There will be casualties in the form of bunkers.
Base is under attack.
Oh. Probably not where I wanted him to turn into siege mode. Right in the middle of the psionic storm. Alright. Let's go get this last temple now. If I recall, there's no one defending it. Let's burn on through it.
Base is under attack.
This better be good.
Base is under attack.
There we go.
Go on.
And at this point, our defense is pretty much right where it needs to be, so, I mean, all these extra resources we have, just more tanks. You really cannot have too many tanks on this mission. There's no such thing. So, just, we're gonna make more of them. We're gonna put a bunch behind here, and just kind of wait for the drill to finish doing its thing.
Yeah.
Grab the last relic. Yeah, there's a scout just like chilling up there. Take him out so he doesn't attack our SCVs or anything.
That's fine.
Alright, and then we'll take these guys and throw them in one of the bunkers.
Geyser exhausted.
Send some of these guys down to our
Big John, what's going
other
on?
command center.
Go ahead. In the rear with the gear.
See the one problem with extending our defense this way is sometimes they don't quite get range of these tanks. So we might have to move them down here too, but we'll see about that. All in all, though, I'm not concerned. It's just multiple layers of defense. You know, if they break through these guys over here, they still got to get through everything up here and past all these tanks, and not a huge deal. Well, I'm thinking about it, though. I am going to start building a few more anti-air turrets for when they do send in more flyers. The other nice thing, as you see there about the anti-air missile launchers, is they will actually attack the Colossus, which is quite nice.
What's that?
We need a few more over here.
Fueled up, ready to go.
Let's just kind of reposition these so they're a little farther out here on this kind of rock face, and they can reach a little farther with their guns.
What's our target?
And more tanks, and more tanks, and more tanks.
Ready to roll out. Gotcha. It's your
We're just going to
time.
build a little supply depot wall here.
Depleted.
Oop, grab all these SCVs that are just sitting around doing nothing. Tell them to get back to work.
Base is under SCVs are under attack.
Ooh, there's a lot of tanks we lost there.
Give us your best
That's
shot.
alright, we got more on the way.
Breach of the doorway core is imminent. Structure access imminent.
It is our sacred duty to stop these defilers. Burn them to ashes.
You really grow on, son.
Base is under attack. Our SCVs
Alright, we should win here in just a few minutes. There we go.
You have prevailed for now. Word of this sacrilege will echo across the stars, James Raynor. The day of reckoning draws near.
These artifacts of yours seem real popular, Tychus.
What do we care? As long as the pay's good.
Really? I'd say getting vaporized by the Tal'Darim definitely counts as diminishing returns.
Changes, Raynor. I bring tidings of doom.
Zeratul.
I have pierced the veil of the future and beheld only oblivion. Yet one spark of hope remains. You will hold her life in your hands. And though justice demands that she die for her crimes, only she can save us.
Wait a second. You're talking about Kerrigan. It's been 4 years. You show up out of nowhere.
Time is short. You must understand. The answers you seek lie within. Study it well. The fate of creation hangs in the balance.
Nice to see you too.